Hello guys, my name is Caitlin Underwood, and today the topic I have chosen is cloning and whether or not it is ethical. My stance on it is that cloning is unethical. Scientists have been pushing the limits to cloning for quite some time, having cloned Dolly a sheep in the 90s. At the time, it was seen as an amazing feat and an incredible advancement for science, but is it ethical? The problem with scientific experiments on living creatures is that we have no idea how certain things will turn out. Take designer children, for example. In order to create designer children, we have to have the step of creating organs. That has been a topic for years, and yet we are now reaching a point where it could become a reality. We have predicted what could happen in books like My Sister's Keeper or Never Let Me Go. In My Sister's Keeper, the main character was made specifically so she could give up her organs to her ill sister. While the book is fiction, it depicts a girl's struggle with being seen as less than, and her only purpose in life is to give away her organs and her body to her sister, somebody who's supposed to be family to her. Imagine growing up knowing that the only reason your parents had you was to cut you up and give away your parts without your consent. To live each day knowing that you aren't loved, that you are an experiment in their eyes, and that there are people that believe that you don't have a soul. A soul is something that they think grants them a right to hurt you if you don't have one. In most religions and spiritual beliefs, souls exist. They are something that tell a person apart from an animal. But aren't we animals? Didn't we descend from the same ancestors as chimpanzees? So what gives us souls and makes us more valid or real than a clone? A common thought when it comes to clones is that they are a copy of the person that they are replicating. Maybe in looks, but not in actual spirit or thought or personality even. Another common thought is that they are mindless and fake, which makes people feel more real compared to them. That is not how cloning works. Take this article written by a man named Adam Popescu. He talks about cloning in dogs and how it is very popular right now. What the buyer sees is that their own puppy has just passed away, so they go to pick up a new puppy that is a carbon copy of their sweet departed angel. What they don't see or care about is the horrible process of cloning. Every animal in the process suffers. First comes the birth mother, who is injected with needles her whole pregnancy. As stated in the article, it can take dozens of artificial inseminations into a mother animal's womb to get a single egg to gestation. When the mother finally does give birth, there are scores of surrogate mothers whose only job is to be filled with needles until they conceive, and then do it all again. Why would they do it all again? Because it's not an exact science. As I mentioned earlier, we don't know what will happen when we clone an animal. Yet, we know animals coming out like their long-lost puppy. That's not always the case. Let's say that the birth mother gives birth to 5 puppies. 2 of them might be stillborn. 1 of them might look a lot like that puppy, but it has a nasty temper. 1 puppy might be missing a leg, and the last puppy is almost right, close enough that the owner will think, "That's my dog." So then, what happens to the other puppies? Do they get adopted? No, they get killed. It is difficult for puppies to make it past the early stage because of mutations and illnesses that are unpredicted by scientists because they don't know what will happen. And as stated, if that cloned puppy makes it past the gauntlet, but it's missing the spot over its eye that a deceased dog had, for example, it is still facing a swift death via euthanasia, just another pile of genetic material to harvest. If this is how they treat living, breathing animals, how are they going to treat humans? They talk about making designer babies and how month-old babies will have to die in order for that person to get their wish. And if people are so concerned about clones having souls or not having souls, if you believe in them, then shouldn't they be concerned about their own designer kids not having souls? A professor of philosophy at a Pennsylvania college mentioned that, in his opinion, the idea that being born, as opposed to being created artificially, is necessary for having souls. That's ludicrous. If souls do exist, then why would being born be a necessary condition for having one? Wouldn't having a functioning brain be a more likely candidate? Whether clones have souls should not be a factor of whether they get equal rights or treatment. As a country, we are not at a stage where that says that everyone will treat the clones with respect and dignity when we don't even treat our own people with respect and dignity. Altogether, I am against this issue because we are unsure about the genetic deformities these experiments may cause, and many kids and animals will be harmed in the testing of these experiments. I believe that cloning full humans and animals should not happen, because even though it may be useful to clone organs for sick and dying patients, which is fine, it would not be safe for animals and kids to be cloned. We need to protect these clones, make sure that everyone is aware of what is actually happening in labs. We need to take a stance on this before it escalates. People will be upset. Maybe at the people against the clones, or maybe for the clones, as they should be. Many will be upset that they are getting told that by creating Sprinkles the pug, they are potentially ending the lives of all of his siblings. But this is something that needs to happen for the greater good. We need to talk about this issue, and we need to act now and make sure that we are protesting this. Thank you.